go for this. 3,051.
Okay.
G'day, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Today I want to talk about this unit in this box here, the SIG kilo2400abs laser rangefinder. This is a unit that we've had for the best part of this season and a little bit longer, and has been working really well. Now what it is a laser rangefinder, which has also got, it's also a large part of a weather meter. It is also able to carry ABS or applied ballistic software to be able to get you onto target. It's made to work in combination with your phone. You download an app on your phone, you go through and put all your information in on your phone, and then in syncing with this unit you can then put all your particular rifle and load information into this unit, and then with using your mode button and the range finding button and putting some wind data in, you can actually get a full solution to be able to get on and do your long range shooting. Now I should say, in the touching that slightly, there is a weather meter, or sorry, a wind meter made to be able to plug into your phone that's in this unit. There's also a mount to be able to slide on here to be able to use this on a tripod, and there's also a nice little pen and a cable and some new batteries and all bits and pieces that come with this system. As for the applied ballistic software and how well that works, I'll be completely honest with you and say I haven't used it at all. I haven't used that side of this system. But that will work as well as it works in any situation. The applied ballistics guys have done a very good job. They are constantly updating, and that stuff works very well. And it'll work whether you're using it from your Kestrel meter or you're using it from your phone or using it wherever it is. That stuff is going to work as well as you feed the data in, and going to work very well. So that's something that for me and the way I do things, it's not something in the way I wanted to do things. What I wanted in this unit, and I'm also not using the weather meter side of this unit either. Once again, it's not fitting into how I do things. My spotter does the weather side of things. I do with my phone and my head, I do the math side of things. And what I want in this unit, very much what suited me for this unit, was a good laser rangefinder. And as you saw with the lead into this video, this thing does a really good job. This is got to the longest reading we've actually got with it is just on 3,200 yards. The longest reading I've actually recorded, as you saw, was 3,100 yards. So really, really good for such a nice little compact unit. This is working really, really well. So very happy with it. I would say, and I suppose I touch base with how that works. If you go through the information on the unit, you'll find that, you know, if you're going for an animal, then how far that will range find is one distance, and I'll go through and put all those distances in here. So whether it's what size the animal is, whether it's trees, whether it's the side of the hill, well, all those things and their reflective value change the distance you can expect to use this with. I've heard rumour or read, I think, that this is going to measure up to 2 miles. Now I have no doubt it will, but I'll go through and qualify that a little bit. That means that if you have a big reflective surface, and that means a surface that is directly set up to reflect back to you, and you have no interference between you and that surface, this is going to be able to read. I haven't found a place that I can go through and set that up, and I, to be truthful, haven't bothered. But I'd be not surprised if it was even out to 38 or 4,000 yards as how far this would actually go if you were measuring across a lake, onto the side of a shed, onto the side of a building, which is directly perpendicular or at right angles to you, both up and down and left and right, and it can reflect straight back. I've no doubt that this system will be able to get to that distance. What I found, the maximum distance I could go, like I said, I saw 3,200 yards. What we have recorded is 3,100 yards, was onto a 24-inch plate. So that plate, which is yay big, out at 3,000 yards is a very, very small target. And to do it, what you're actually seeing in the way of when I do that footage, I am using it in a tripod bracket, and I have a little bracket set up on the phone with my phone on the back of this to be able to actually video that so you guys can see what I was actually doing. In every case, what I did in verifying this thing, and I've done a lot of it, was actually use the thing properly against my eye to be able to see it. Now I found at 1,500 yards, 1,800 yards, even 2,000 yards, that was something you could do just by free holding it and actually hold it still enough. Beyond that point, I found it very, very difficult, and I couldn't get a reading. It's not because the unit couldn't get a reading, it's because I wasn't holding it still enough. What I learned to do was to be able to bracket myself over my rifle, which is very stable, on the top of the scope, hold it down to where I had this stable, however it's suited to be able to get it there, to get it very stable, to be able to bring in, to then I was resting everything and be hold like that. And every time you saw a reading like the 3,100 yards or the 3,051 yards or whatever it was, I truly got those readings when I was actually holding on the scope to do it like that. It does take a firm, it does take a very stable hand. You do have to hold it still. And it is a 7 power. At 7 power, in that little rangefinder, in that little viewfinder, little targets like that can be very hard to find. But this really did that, which I'm super impressed with, worked really well. And for what we wanted in the rangefinder, and obviously this depends on what you're doing, what we wanted was exactly that. We wanted a rangefind, but in truth we're setting up targets, and that's the other thing we were cross-referencing with, is we're always using various forms, largely the iPhone GPS app, which the one we use is called virtual measuring tape, but it's basically a GPS. So we've also done that with Garmin products and all that sort of stuff, verify things, but we are always setting up our target and then verifying back here. That gave us two things. That gives us what we're actually doing is verifying the real distance that we're shooting for people on video, so we try and do it in various forms, but that was the way of doing it. This is a very nice way to do it. You actually see the laser rangefinder. The benefit we got out of that was we actually got to test, and surprisingly enough, the truth, if you gave the GPS app time to find its distance properly, which can be up to 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, so it's double check, cross-searching itself all the time, we found that always they were around 1 yard apart or exactly the same. So I don't know if that's a credit to the GPS app or that's a credit to the laser rangefinder, but it meant we weren't just getting a reading, we were getting a reading that we could verify very thoroughly. So for most of the world, and what you're going to use it for, when it's set up properly, really for hunting side of things and in any decent range or any reasonable conceivable range to hunt with, this is going to do the job amazingly well. For people who want to use it for verifying targets at a PRS competition or a long range competition in any normal level, and even, really when most competitions are shooting even in the ELR side of things, then they're not shooting at 24-inch targets. They're shooting at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times or 6 times that target is the long stuff. This thing is going to be able to work. Keep in mind when you're looking at a target, when you're using a laser rangefinder, that target has to be pointing at you. If you're looking at it from 30 degrees to the side, it's not reflecting directly back to you. So this sort of thing is not going to work properly. It needs to be looking at the target where you're straight ahead, it's bouncing it straight back is where it's going to work properly. But I'd have to say for us, super impressed, it works really well. And to be truthful, to go much past this sort of distance, it's going to be, yes, obviously the laser is going to need to be powerful and probably have some more power and more reflective ability and all that sort of stuff. But actually the targeting system, actually being able to hold it onto that little target out there is going to be really hard to do. So whether that's mounted in a rifle scope or a spotter scope or something like that, to be able to get that accuracy of hold is going to be the next challenge. But for a handheld unit that can laser range find to any conceivable thing I can really put down, this thing nails it. This thing's really good. Really been really happy with it. Really great to use, and a good product. Anyway, guys, that's my take on it. Listen, and the bit I would say beyond that point for people who want to know more about the rest of it, about part of the big part of what you're paying money for. So the ABS solution, the weather side of things, how to use it, how to set up the app. There is lots of information on Google, on the computer, or on the internet about that side of things. One of the ones I looked at, which is pretty good, breaks it down pretty nicely. Rex Reviews does this, so you can look up him. He does review on this unit, going through the basics and how to set that stuff up to a degree. Spends a bit of time on that, breaks it down to layman terms, does quite a good job. And there's quite a bit of reading about it on there as well. It's been out for a little while now, lots of information to pick up there. I'm not going to bore you with saying it all again. And like I said, I'll be honest, I'm not using the ABS, I'm not using the weather side of things. I'm using a great little laser rangefinder, which works really well for us. Alright guys, thanks for checking in on us. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Down below here, we've got a link to our web store where we have some of the specialised long-range shooting products that we actually produce. Check them out.
And for those of you who can, it'd be great to get some help. In our store we have support bits, and when you purchase those, the money goes direct to our channel and helps us bring these videos to you.
Thanks, guys.
See you next time.